One of the most common things for most guys when they join the gym is they want to add muscle, and everybody always inboxes me saying, I'm doing this, and this, and I can't seem to add any muscle. Well, the truth of the matter is, guys, you ain't doing this, and this. And the things that I'm talking about is eating, training, and sleeping. And that kind of comes into recovery as well. So sleeping and recovery is like one. And then the other thing, that's the triangle, that's the golden triangle. And then if you want to come on to the last thing, once all those are in check, then we can start talking about steroids. But this isn't a video for steroids. This is why you are not adding muscle. There is no magic potion out there to add muscle. If you think about it like this, let's say we take some liquid, like a 1 ml oil of testosterone, and we inject it. And we don't train, we don't eat right, and we don't sleep. We don't recover. Do you really think there's something in that testosterone that's going to automatically make us add muscle? Exactly. There isn't. There's nothing in there. If we, let's say, just eat, we're just eating, we're not doing anything else, we're only eating, do you think we're going to add muscle? No, we're not. Let's sleep. If we only sleep, do you think we're going to add muscle? No, we're going to be very recovered. We're going to be probably restless, if anything, because we're going to be getting that much rest. You become restless. So you're not going to add muscle. Let's say you only trained. The only thing you did was train, but you wasn't eating correctly and you wasn't recovering properly. Do you think you'd be adding muscle? Very, very minimal. And that is the issue with most of the people out there. So a lot of guys I see have one of the two or two of the three right, but they're missing a crucial bit. And it can be any one of those. I think one of the main things that people aren't doing is training. That is the main thing people are doing, is they're training right. They're not training right. They're messing around with too much fluff in the gym. If you are warming up, or if your first exercise on the back is a lat pull down, single cable, handed machine, doing this, you're not going to add muscle. If you're doing anything single arm when you're doing back for your first exercise, you're not going to add muscle. If you're doing chest and you start with some sort of a cable or a pec fly, you're not going to add muscle. If you're doing legs and the first thing you're going to do is some sort of a machine laid onto the side, pressing up on some sledge, you're not going to add muscle. And if you are doing shoulders and you're laying down, adding two cable attachments to the top and the bottom with these cuffs on and pushing these cuffs back, you ain't going to add no muscle. What I'm talking about is very simple. You need to do heavy compound lifts. I've done a video on this before. The main point of every single training program is to lift the maximum load on the top 2, maybe 3 exercises. So for chest, it's very simple. Bench, flat bench, incline bench. For back, deadlift, rows. For legs, leg press, squats. And for shoulders, shoulder press and shrugs. That's it. They're your main exercises. And then when it comes to biceps, it's barbell curls. And when it comes to triceps, it's tricep press downs or close grip bench press. They are your top 10 exercises that you should be focusing on, regardless of who you are, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced lifter. They are the top 10 exercises that every single person needs to focus on to build any muscle. If you're not doing them, you are not going to build any muscle. Now, once you've got that taken care of, the next thing you need to do is start eating right. If you're counting calories, then you clearly don't know who I am, or you clearly don't follow me long enough. But you shouldn't be counting calories. The reason why is because all calories aren't made the same, and our metabolisms aren't the same, and our digestion and absorption rates aren't the same. What you need to be doing is focusing on protein and fat, not carbohydrates. If you want to add muscle, build muscle, carbohydrates do not build muscle. The only thing that builds muscle is protein and fats. As long as you're having those two things and you're having a lot of them. So for example, let's say your training's right and your sleeping's right and you think, I've got my diet right. And you're lean, but you're not adding muscle. Eat more. Remember, your training's right. You're not adding muscle, eat more. Not adding muscle, eat more. And then your genetics will determine whether you can add muscle easy or it's going to be very difficult for you to add muscle. If it comes to be that it's really difficult for you to add muscle because of your genetics, and yes, genetics are a big thing. They are the trump card. They are like the ace card for everything. Okay, you can always use that ace card. And when I say ace card, it could be good and a bad ace card. So you can either have an ace card or a joker in the deck, if you understand the reference. So it could be that eating is your joker, like it is for me. I can train good and I can recover good, but when it comes to eating, I am not going to be able to push my body weight past 100 kilograms. Lean, like 10%, sub 10%, 100 kilograms. That's the best I've ever got. I'm never ever going to be able to push past that, because in order for me to do that, what's going to happen is this. I will eat to the point where my stomach will start sticking out, where my insides will start suffering. Well, I need to take more gear. Well, I'll need to train harder to the point where I'm going to risk injury. So for me, I know my joker was eating. But everybody can add muscle. Every single person can add muscle. It's up to your body to decide how much muscle. When it comes to recovery is very important. Now, this is one of the 3 things that you can kind of get away with if you're on steroids. But we're not going to talk about steroids here. But you can still kind of get away with a little bit of recovery, because everyone falls asleep. Like, eventually everybody falls asleep. No person can not fall asleep, otherwise you're going to die. We all know that. So it might not be the best sleep. It might not be the best recovery. You might get injured a lot more often because you're not recovered right. Your food might not digest properly because you're not going through the sleep cycle correctly. You might not be strong in the gym because your recovery isn't right. So but still, you can still eat well and you can still train if you are not fully recovered. So out of the 3, I would put that on the lowest end of the spectrum. And number 2 would be food. But number 1, ultimately, will be training. Because without training, none of that is possible. So there you have it, guys. If you are asking yourself, or you're asking me, why can I not add muscle? And if you still have every single thing in check, then drop me an inbox. But until you are not eating correctly, until you're not training properly, and you're not sleeping properly, and your recovery as well, so I'm talking like Epsom salt baths, a lot of stretching, a lot of massage, a lot of foam roller, all this kind of stuff comes under the bracket of recovery. If you're doing every single thing, then contact me. But until you're doing all those things to 100%, don't drop me the inbox, bro, because I'm going to tell you to focus on them. Now, if you don't know what to do in those things, then of course I can guide you through it. Then hit the inbox, bro. Definitely hit the inbox. But look, it's very simple. Or it isn't. Depends how you look at it. It's not a simple thing to do, to get everything in check. To get all your ducks in order, it's not the easiest thing, but it's a challenge. And if it was easy, everybody would be walking around with a good physique. If it was easy, we'd all know I would have a job. So there you have it, guys. Every single person can add muscle if you get everything right, or at least 2 of the 3 things right. Anyway, hopefully this gave you some value. Comment down below. Please like and subscribe. We're trying to grow over here.